Okay, when you're faced with your unfamiliar, you have a task to do. You have to read it and then analyze it. And it's asking you to analyze the language and the author's choice of language. But there are some clues that we can kind of look for that will help us guide us along that path. So in this kind, it's nonfiction. So we can say that really it's not prose. It's not really meant to entertain or stimulate us in that sense, creatively. But it's an opinion from a newspaper. And this is very key to understanding the language features that go along for. So when we look at this, we can tell that an opinion piece, the purpose is to persuade us. Okay, it's to persuade the reader. All right. Now you don't need to write this because that's just what I'm doing so that you understand what I'm doing. All right, what I'm be looking at. But here we understand it's about persuasion, and here the writer reflects on seeing a piece of graffiti. All right, it doesn't say tagging, but it says graffiti. All right, so we're going to look at this. And then you got the title, Let These Words Stay on This Wall. So immediately, if we've got graffiti in the title there, I have an idea that what the author is telling me is that sometimes graffiti is worth being left alone, okay? But maybe it's perhaps a work of art. So I get an idea that he is, in a way, saying that some graffiti is worth keeping, okay? Graffiti is worth keeping. All right. Now that's even before I've read the piece. So now I need to go and have a look at how he uses language to kind of maybe emphasize this idea. I was stopped by a poem. I don't know who wrote it, and I doubt it will last, but it made me think. It was written on a wall in Littleton. Here it is in full. This cold port town, its alleys like catacombs, its air reeks of murmurs and whispers. We are ships in the dark, no hope at all. And so when I kind of look at that, I sort of get this idea. There's things that kind of language features in there that make me think a little bit about what the author thought. So he describes the corner as cold catacombs, there are reeks, dark. No hope at all. We get that use there. Okay, a parallel structure or parallelism, if you want to call it that. All right. But also we get, said before, a bit of a semantic field. A semantic field of uncomfortable kind of language. We get this idea of catacombs, no hope, cold, reeking. And it's almost like, there's almost a field of kind of uncomfortable language. You have to forgive my my pencil, but it's not particularly the sharpest. So, and then in the next paragraph, the author says, I like good graffiti. Someone around here used to deface stop signs. Under the word stop, it would stencil eating animals. This carnivore chuckled. But most graffiti is not good. Most graffiti is just a leg cocked against the lamppost of society. All right. Young males do almost all of it, and the words they may use vary and the meaning doesn't. They say only I am here, be annoyed by me, hate me, condemn me, fear me, but please, above all, just notice me. The wall poem was painted on and had once been part of the Littleton jail. It must have been odd to have a jail in town, to walk past it each day and to know that he's inside hear you. If nothing else, it would have brought home the reality of crime and punishment and underlined the joy of liberty. They knocked down the jail in the 1920s and built the school and playing field. The poem is on the wall of the playing field. I don't pretend it's a masterpiece, but it crystallizes feeling and reveals the author. That is what the poetry does. Here, he kind of names what we kind of crystallizes the feeling and reveals the author. All right. So in a way, he's revealing the inner thoughts and ideas of the person who wrote it. All right. Okay. Read the poem again, and then tell me the author's age and sex. Do we agree that he's a he? I thought so. And that he's youngish? Perhaps his 20s? Splendid. Can we go away further? Yeah, we can guess what's irking him. Yes, I thought so too. Love can be cruel. The last line sings, with the bald simplicity of despair, but I expect the council will soon send someone with a water blaster on the grounds that they don't have little children reading about despair. It might infect them or depress them. Ah, fat chance. You can't poem the hope out of children. Their bones are made of hope. It bubbles through your eyes and smiles. It takes decades to leak away. And besides, this poet isn't without hope. He's secretly pleased with his words otherwise. He wouldn't paint them on a wall. He's rolling in his misery like a dog in a carcass. He's performing his groom. But in performing, he's touching the others, and that's the language is for. I hope the poem stays. Okay, so there. Now we've read it and we get an idea that really he's saying that some graffiti should be worth keeping. All right. Even though it's not very edifying, even though it's a bit depressing. So now what we got to do, we actually got to go through and find language features that kind of help back up that idea. All right. So here, most graffiti and most graffiti. And we get this idea here, again, of parallelism. All right, so we've got that, that's one. Now for level 2, we need 2 language features. So as we go through, annoyed by me, hate me, and we get that lovely idea of repetition. Okay. That's 2 language features. Had once been part of Little in Jail, blah, blah, blah. And so we got the underlined joy of liberty. Okay. Read the poem again. Does he agree that it's a he? Again, back in the 20s, go ahead further. And here we get rhetorical questions. All right. So already we're sort of seeing this. Questions. Okay, the poem is on the wall. There's reality of crime and punishment. And then we get reading. Okay, then we got okay, hope out of little children, their bones are made of hope. Okay, you got a little idea of a metaphor. That's 3. Sorry, that's 4. Talk questions are 3. Okay, so we got 3, we got metaphor, fat chance. Now here, in a way he uses colloquialism. All right, so there's 5. Okay, he's rolling in misery. And then down the bottom, like a dog in a carcass. Okay, we got that lovely simile. Okay, and that's 6. Okay, so we have 6 language features that we can discuss. And we'll just pause there.